Today we're going to be learning the Hebrew alphabet. When we learn the Hebrew alphabet, there are three things that we need to notice, and that is first the order, in order to help us find the words in the dictionary. Basically the Hebrew name of the alphabet, so that when I refer to Sade, you know exactly what I'm speaking about. And then, of course, the transliteration in terms of what is the approximate English equivalent, so that you will become familiar with the ways in which commentaries, dictionaries would actually indicate it, because some commentaries don't even have the Hebrew word written out in Hebrew, but in the transliteration. So let's start with the alphabet. First, you have the Aleph, which is transliterated as an apostrophe. Then you have Bet with the B, Gimel, G, Dalet, D, Hey, H, Vav, W, Zayin, Z. Het is an H with a dot underneath it. Tet is a T with a dot underneath it. Yud, Y. Kaf is K. Lamed is L. Mem is M. Nun is N. Samek is S. Ein is a backward apostrophe. Pei is a P. Sade is an S with a dot underneath it. Kuf is a Q. Resh is an R. This is a Sin. S with an accent mark. Shin. An S with a circumflex. Tav is a T. Now, ancient Hebrew did not have spaces or punctuation marks. So therefore, certain letters have what we call a final form. In other words, if it ends a word with that particular letter, it is written differently. And those letters, the 5 letters, are basically, we're looking at Kaf, okay, with the long line underneath it. Then you have the Mem, which is like just a box. And then you have Nun, again with a long line. And then, of course, we have Pe, which is with the long elongated. Again, this is not part of the alphabet. This is just, if there was a invisible line there, you'll just see the long extension of the leg. And then you have Sade. So these 5 letters have a different form when it ends a word, because again, in ancient Hebrew there were no spaces between words and there were no punctuation marks. Now, the print that we are learning in the alphabet is the block print that you'll encounter in the biblical text, but also in modern Hebrew there's also cursive writing. If you want, I actually recommend, if you want to be able to write Hebrew fast, to learn the cursive form, but you will not be encountering cursive in the text itself. It's only available in modern Hebrew. Another thing I want you to note is that the pronunciation that we are learning together are modern Hebrew pronunciation, not the reconstructed scientific traditional pronunciation. The reason why we are not learning the scientific pronunciation is, first, they're not being used currently, and second, it's reconstructed. We think it might have sounded like this, but we have absolutely no idea, and consequently, I think it's better to learn modern Hebrew pronunciation of the Hebrew alphabet. So that is the Hebrew alphabet. The second part that I want to introduce you to is what we call the BeGaDKeFaT letters. Now, the BeGaDKeFaT letters are letters, it's a mnemonic for the letters that could take what we call Dagesh Lene, and I will talk about that. Give me 1 second. That's Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pei, Tav. BeGaDKeFaT letters, a mnemonic for Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pei, Tav, basically refers to letters that are able to take what we call a Dagesh Lene. That is the dot in the middle of the letter. So, Dagesh Lene means soft dot in the middle of the consonant, as opposed to Dagesh Forte, hard dot. The hard dot refers to doubling of the consonant. All letters except the gutturals technically can be doubled. The problem with the BeGaDKeFaT letters are that it can also take a Dagesh Lene, where it is not doubled. For now, later on, I'm going to be talking about how to differentiate when you see a Dagesh, whether it be a Lene or Forte, in BeGaDKeFaT letters later on, but I need you to know the category of these letters. In the ancient Hebrew, BeGaDKeFaT letters with the Dagesh in them had a different sound than it did if it without the Dagesh. So therefore, in modern Hebrew, Bet with the Dagesh is a B sound. Without the Dagesh was a V sound. Gimel in modern Hebrew does not differentiate Gimels with a Dalet Dagesh as opposed to without a Dagesh. But in ancient Hebrew, we call it basically spirantization. So therefore, technically, without the Dagesh, it was a G sound. G sound. Same thing with Dalet. In modern Hebrew, does not differentiate between either of them. But in ancient Hebrew, the reconstructed scientific pronunciation, potentially that there was a DH sound for the Dalet without the Dagesh. Kaf in modern Hebrew with the dagesh is a K sound. Without the dagesh is a KH sound. Cha. With the pei, with the dagesh, it is actually a P sound in modern Hebrew. And without the dagesh, it is a F sound, an F sound. And the tav, with the dagesh, in modern Hebrew is T. And without the dagesh, it's also a T sound. But again, in the reconstructed ancient Hebrew, there's a th sound. Now again, since we're learning the modern differentiation, modern pronunciation of the Hebrew alphabet, the only pronunciation that will be distinct will be with the bet sound, the kaf, and the pei. The other three letters, we will not be differentiating whether there is a dagesh in the letter or not. So, first we learned the Hebrew alphabet, the transliteration, and the order and the name of the letters. Then we learn the BeGaDKeFaT letters, which is a category of letters that are able to take a dagesh lene, as opposed to dagesh forte, which all consonants can technically get because it is being doubled, except for another category of letters, what we call the guttural. Gutturals cannot be doubled because they are throaty, or give me 1 second, throat based letters. So again, the significance of these letters will become more evident as we start adding vowels to them, but just know that guttural letters could not be doubled because they're the throat sounds, and they are the aleph, hey, chet, ein, and potentially resh. Not always does resh function like a guttural. Although in modern Hebrew aleph, you don't really hear the throat part of it. But again, the reconstructed ancient Hebrew, there was more of a sound. And then you have the hey, chet, ein, resh. So all you need to remember is that these 5 letters are potentially, not always, are a category called the guttural letters. So this ends our lesson on the Hebrew alphabet.